Southwest, the heart of a fan.
Man, what a busy sports day here in Arlington outside Texas Live. Its fans head in. Rangers baseball presented by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts. It's the Rangers and Guardians' second game of this series. It's also Juan Gonzalez bobblehead day today. Has the fans coming in early. Welcome in again, everybody. Great to be with you tonight. I'm Dave Raymond with CJ Nitkowski. We had kind of a fun one here yesterday. Big crowd, lots of energy, and we're expecting more of the same tonight. Now, on the mound for the Rangers, he did not start the season in the rotation, but he might be finishing as strong as anybody. We'll see Glenn Otto tonight.
Yeah, Glenn Otto has been really good lately, and for a rookie, he has really shown out here for the Rangers and trying now to finish the season strong, but he's been on a pretty good roll. Now, you look overall in the American League rookie ranks, and the starts have been there, the wins. Always had a little bit of an issue getting them, but much better here lately. And 118 innings for Glenn Otto, but the 92 strikeouts is what really starts to stick out with him. He's getting more swing and miss here lately, and while that has been good, this has been even better for Glenn Otto. He is filling up the strike zone, not just with the strikeouts, but he's not walking hitters. Early on, that was a little bit of an issue. If you look at walks per 9, MLB average is 3.1. Well, Glenn Otto, in his previous 17 games, 5.2. That was not going to work, but over his last 5, he has really corrected things. 2.3 walks per 9 right now for Glenn Otto. Much, much better.
Okay, so he's been good. One other part of the Rangers game we've enjoyed has been the base running, showing no fear on the bases, and CJ puts him in the spotlight when we come back. Presented by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts. And by Baylor Scott & White Health, changing healthcare for the better.
Now fans filing in on what is expected to be another fun night of baseball here
at Globe Life Field. We are inside 75 degrees as the Guardians get
ready to take on the Rangers. And time now for our Shiner Box Spotlight and taking a look at both of these teams and their ability to steal bases. Nobody has been better than the Texas Rangers this season. The Guardians, though, they've done a pretty nice job themselves. They have 5 players with better than 15 steals. But on the Rangers side of things, 20 different Rangers have stolen a base this year. None more on this club than that man right there, Adolis Garcia. But contributions up and down the line. Marcus Semien has 24. Bubba Thompson hasn't been here very long, and he's got 17. We've even seen Josh Young with a couple of stolen bases this year. So the running Rangers in full effect here in 2022. I mentioned Garcia leading the way. Well, he got hit by a pitch last night. And for more on that, here's Emily Jones.
Yeah, a scary moment last night, CJ, as Adolis Garcia hit in the hand on that left hand, the 100-mile-an-hour fastball, and you would think there's got to be some damage done, right? I mean, you just look at not only the area that it hit, but also, you know, the speed at which that ball was coming at him. But miraculously, X-rays negative. Talked to Adolis today. He said, "I feel fine." Almost shrugged me off, like, "Why are you asking me this?" He's kind of a bionic man. He's not in the lineup today, but he will be available off the bench for Tony Beasley.
Well, you asked him because it looked like it hurt, and it was loud too. It sounded like it had hit the bat, but that was his hand, and it's good to hear that he is
okay. We've seen it so many times where guys get hit in that area in particular. Sometimes it's the hamate bone, and then they have to miss some significant time. So that is really some good news to know that Adolis Garcia is feeling okay, and even the fact that he was a little bit bothered that Emily Jones checked in today. That's okay.
Well, we are just about set tonight. Middle game of this 3-game series. Rangers just about set to take the field. Guardians, you know, they're ready to start hitting. So let's take a look at the Guardians starting lineup today. Stephen Kwan, maybe, quite honestly, I don't know what the heck he's doing right there. The Guardians 84 and 67. Kwan will lead it off as the DH. Ahmed Rosario at shortstop, and then it's Jose Ramirez at third base. Part of the order is Josh Naylor at first, Oscar Gonzalez in right field, and Andres Jimenez playing second base, batting sixth. Brennan in left field, his 4th big league game. Austin Hedges, the veteran catcher, and then Miles Straw in center field will bat ninth.
Glenn Otto going tonight for the Rangers. It'll be his 25th start of the season. You can see his record there, 6-9, 4.88 ERA. We talked about the strikeouts. They have been pretty good here lately for Glenn Otto. He's got a lot of swing and miss in his game, but he's also got a two-seam fastball that he's been really good for him this year. 92 miles an hour, the average velocity there. Slider, four-seam fastball, curveball, and change. But you see the number, the 179 opponent's batting average against his two-seam fastball. That's tied for the best in baseball among pitchers that have thrown at least 500 two-seam fastballs this year. Now, the defense becomes important for a guy like Glenn Otto, and in the outfield tonight, he's got Josh Smith, Leody Taveras, and in right field, he's got Bubba Thompson. In the infield, Josh Young, Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, Nate Lowe over at first, and Sam Huff is the catcher tonight.
All right, so just about set to go. You mentioned it, 75 air-conditioned degrees indoors. Roof closed again tonight. It's just a little too hot and humid to peel that thing back.
Did I hear Chuck say 94 degrees outside?
Big deal. 94 degrees, and once again, autumn just kind of holding us off for another day. It seems like it's time, but we'll have to wait, apparently, at least one more day. Steven Kwan will wait for nothing. He's ready to go. He'll be the DH tonight for the Guardians. They have an 8-game lead over the White Sox. Their magic number is now down to 3, which means all they have to do is win 3 or have the White Sox lose 3 games or any combination thereof, and the Guardians will have clinched the Central Division under Terry Francona once again. First pitch on the way to Kwan, and that one a little bit high for a ball.
Yeah, so it's up to the Rangers to make it their job that they do not allow the Guardians to fall into a potential clinch situation tomorrow. Everything would have to go their way to clinch tomorrow, but it is possible.
And a little bit wide, 2-0 to Steven Kwan. He's 10th in the league with that average you see there at the bottom of your screen. 5 homers, 44 RBIs. He's not a huge power threat, but he'll hit some extra base hits. 22 doubles, 7 triples. He's a very difficult out, not just because of the batting average of the on-base percentage, which is also 10th best in the league, but he just fights off anything close and puts pressure on pitchers to throw strikes, which Otto does not do in this first plate appearance. And so Kwan takes the walk. Guardians have their lead man on tonight. So Ahmed Rosario will be the batter. Rosario, right-handed hitter. And he's just outside of the top 10 in the league with that .281 average, 11 homers. And he takes off the plate. That's 5 straight misses for Otto to get started this evening. Rosario was 1 for 4 with a triple yesterday, and there's the strike. 1-1. The Guardians did that thing that teams used to do quite commonly when they traveled here the other day, which is they had some rookies and whatnot put on some costumes. This one in the air out to right field and hangs up for Bubba Thompson. 1 away. I'll bring up veteran Jose Ramirez. But Rosario, it's just kind of funny, a guy who is experienced at this point in his career. He came up in 2017 with the Mets. He's the shortstop and kind of a little bit of a personality and leader in the clubhouse for this team. He didn't want to see the guys dressed up the other day feeling bad about it or anything, so he went ahead and got in costume with them. Which, as was pointed out, he's just right on the cusp of arbitration eligibility, and this guy again who's kind of served his time here early in his career. And Terry Francona was awfully impressed with the way he went. He said that's just who he is. I mean, it's not as if it was contrived. This pitch from Otto is off the plate. So he's just a fun-loving guy, cares about his teammates, and wanted to make sure that everybody understood that it was all in the spirit of fun, and so he got in costume with him.
So we put the orange jumpsuit on, right? They dressed him up as prisoners, I had heard. We didn't see it.
That's a pretty cool dude, man. That's I like that about a guy.
Yeah, there was a time where that did bring a little bit of anxiety when the whole dressing up thing went on, but you have seen teams, and I think some veterans kind of get it, that they make it more of a team thing now. And they're not trying to separate the younger players. You still give younger players a hard time here and there. It's kind of part of the rite of passage as a big leaguer. But I can appreciate that as well, the idea that you don't want those guys to feel anything less than. So you jump in there, and in the case of the Guardians and the way they went with it, orange jumpsuits. I cannot say that I would have done the same that one time we dressed up rookies in the Hooters outfits. I don't think I would have jumped in.
Breaking ball from Otto, and that's a good slider, but it is just a tad high to Ramirez. 2-1. I think I speak for those rookies and probably just about everybody else out there. We appreciate the fact that you didn't feel the urge to join them. Otto with a long hold, the 2-1 pitch. That is upstairs, ball 3.
You guys remember when Adrian Beltre dressed up like a farmer?
That's right.
To make the fellas feel good. A little whole farm scene for everyone on that road trip. How many ever years ago? I lost track of all time, but it was funny.
It was. Yep. He's then, just kind of follows suit, right? A good guy gets it. What it means to be one of the more visible veteran faces on a team, and wants to make sure that everybody's comfortable and they know that they're, like you say, CJ, kind of a valued part of the team. It's important. The good ones seem to know how to do that stuff. That's a big 3-1 pitch. Runner goes. This one lined into center field, and that should be handled by Taveras. 2 gone now in the first inning. Kwan got a good start, but he hits back to first. Always good to retire Jose Ramirez. As much as Rosario was a big part of things with that stunt the other day, this guy Ramirez, he is kind of the heart and soul of this Cleveland ball club.
Yeah, we talk a lot about kind of leadership. You hear about those qualities in a clubhouse and
getting guys and all the phrases, pulling from the same rope, etc., etc. They really are living that right now in Cleveland, because they are not as talented as other rosters you've seen around the league, but yet they're going to be division winners. And a big part of that is because of some of the leadership in those 2 players that you were just talking about, Rosario and Ramirez, and setting examples, first of all, being good guys, but how they play the game. And you were talking about it last night. Everyone else kind of follows suit. Like, there's no room for any young player not to play hard when you have those 2 guys leading the way, doing all those little things right. And it is really paying off. That is how they're going to win a division, by doing all the little things really well.
It's a pretty special left side of your infield right there with those 2 guys. We'll throw over to first to keep Kwan close. And Josh Naylor, the first baseman, left-handed batter, climbs back in with the count 0-1. 19 home runs for Naylor, 73 RBIs. He's ended up being a big part of things. His power, especially here toward the back half of the season.
I want you to know where Corey Seager was right there in that shift. And when Glenn Otto threw over to first base, and pretty smart move by Corey Seager, he started jogging to third. Because then when the throw goes back to Glenn Otto, if it's even a little errant, you're going to have a runner at first, and Kwan could probably walk to third base if the ball gets away. We talk about doing the little things right, not getting lazy. Corey Seager backing up throws coming from first base while the team's in a shift. And taking a look at the shift and losing hits because of the shift. We talked about our guy a lot, Corey Seager. How about the Guardians and their guy, Josh Naylor, has lost 21 hits to shifts this season. Those are the only 4 players in Major League Baseball that have lost 20 or more. 2 of them on the field tonight.
There's a bouncer, first base, low, right there in position. And he retires Naylor. That ends the inning. The scoreless top of the first for the Guardians when Otto gets it done in his half of the first. Here come the Rangers. getting ready to go. 65 wins, 85 losses, and a look at the lineup tonight has Semien, Seager, and Lowe up top. No surprise there. Heim will DH. Josh Jung at third base and Leody Taveras in center field. Bottom third of the order has Huff catching, Josh Smith in left, and then Bubba Thompson, the speedy right fielder, bats ninth.
And for the Guardians will be the 27-year-old right-hander Cal Quantrill going, getting ready to make his 30th start of the season. It's been a really good year for him, 13-5 with that 3.56 ERA, but 20 home runs allowed this season for the right-hander, 259 batting average against. The son of Paul Quantrill, 14 years pitched in the big leagues.
Austin Hedges trying to get his shuffle to work. There we go, get the earpiece in. I tell you what, PitchCom's been a good addition this year, but at times it's giving teams a little bit of trouble. Was it the Rangers who lost audio in theirs last night?
Yep. Dennis Santana. So Corey Seager came in, gave Santana his. He went without the PitchCom, and then we saw, of course, if you remember, if you're watching the game last night, Marcus Semien then giving the signs kind of verbally to Corey Seager so he knew what pitches were coming.
Ground ball shortstop. Semien hustling down the line, and they just do get him at the bag. One away. Played by Rosario, one away.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the pitch arsenal for Quantrill, and this right-hander uses a two-seam fastball quite a bit, and it averages 94 miles an hour. Cutter, changeup, curveball, four-seam fastball in there as well. The changeup and the curveball both a 185 batting average against, but you see a very high batting average against the two-seam fastball at 304. Righties in particular have punished that pitch. 337 for them.
He deals low to Corey Seager here. Seager with 32 home runs. That's fifth most in the league now. Quantrill delivers that one, hammered out to left field. It gets down, bangs off the fence, and Seager will have an easy double in the first inning. For Corey Seager, his 23rd double of the season.
We were having this conversation about a week or so ago, and that doubles total for Seager had been down, and it's starting to climb right now. There is that two-seam fastball. We talked about an average over 300 for Quantrill on that pitch, and Corey Seager with a good-looking swing there from the side view, and that backspin that he generates, and this ball just carries. We know that, of course,
out in left field, they cover some ground here. Brennan can run a little bit, but he had no chance at getting to that ball. It was hit so hard.
Quantrill walking back to the dugout, and apparently we're trying to get a new PitchCom. So they've been a little dodgy here in this series.
The consistency of the Stanford guys and how fussy they are.
Oh, please.
It's unbelievable.
Please, please. You know what it is? It's attention to detail and professionalism. That's all it is. Good job. Also, you know, there's sort of a tacit understanding that the only reason he gave up that double is because the PitchCom wasn't working quite right.
Wants everybody to realize it wasn't his fault.
Yeah, after the double. Oh, this thing really is broken. Here is Nathaniel Lowe, and he fouls that one off his foot. He does not like it. Ouch. It's one of the better reactions I've seen from a guy after fouling off his own leg or foot.
Yeah, people get excited about bat flips, but not this one here. As you can see, this ball barreling into Nathaniel Lowe. Looked like the cutter, the second most used pitch, and flip that thing away and catch your breath. I've seen those shoes before from Nathaniel. A lot of riding on them.
Here's one strike pitch, and that is upstairs. Whoa.
Wow.
Doggies, that's a strike. Autographed. Fancy.
It's nice of you to sign his shoes.
Yeah. In the dirt. Ball and 2 strikes to Nathaniel. 5th in the American League right now with a .306 batting average. What a year, what a run it has been for Lowe here in the second half. He's inside these final 2 weeks, just really hoping that he's able to finish it as strong as he has played since, frankly, early July. Even predated the All-Star break when he got hot. 1-2 pitch, and he strikes out swinging. 2 gone.
It's a curveball in the dirt from Quantrill. I mentioned the changeup and the curveball, the pitches in which they've gotten the lowest batting averages against. Now, not a lot of strikeouts necessarily for Quantrill on this curveball. This is just a 10th on that pitch, and now he's got 117 strikeouts on the season.
The 27-year-old right-hander now goes to work on Jonah Heim, and he bounces this one right side of the infield. Jimenez has it, underhands to first, and just like that, it looked like a good start to the inning. Dries up for the Rangers. We'll go to the second, no score.
Indians, and some news to pass along concerning Dane Dunning. He will undergo season-ending surgery on Monday, orthoscopic hip surgery because of a torn labrum that was discovered about a month ago. He's been able to play through it, and actually that hip has been bothering him pretty much all season. He thought it was back pain. Then they kind of isolated it, figured it out where it was, and it was in that hip. And when he was making a play against the Toronto Blue Jays earlier in the season, he kind of noticed it a little bit more, maybe tweaked it, and so they just decided that in order for him to be ready for next season, they would go ahead and have the surgery done on Monday, but he is expected to be ready for 2023.
Well, that's good news.
Yeah, that's good news. The timing's probably right, too, right? For Dane Dunning, you sit there and you try to work through something like that.
Bouncer up the middle, backhanded by Semien, and they get Gonzalez for the first out of the inning.
Let's go ahead and take you back to September 9th and what Emily was talking about with Dane Dunning, and not quite feeling right with this hip as he goes to the field. This kind of slow ground ball. And the throw wasn't a bad one. It sailed on him a little bit, but of course that's because Springer got there at the same time. And you see it there, even the way he kind of bounced off the mound. But I say the timing is good for Dane Dunning because he's had 153 innings on the season.
He had 117 last year. And actually had another 5. He's got 158 because he had that one start in the minor leagues, a rehab start. So he's added another 40 innings this season compared to what he did a year ago. That's a pretty good number for him. And so if you have something bothering you, go ahead and get it taken care of, as Emily mentioned, so that you're ready to go next season.
Jimenez swings right over the top of a good breaking ball from Otto. 1-1. That was the curveball. Glenn got through that first inning, throwing a lot more balls than strikes in that first. 1-1 pitch and another breaking ball, and that's foul. Strike 2. Let's take a look, though, at our Choctaw marquee matchup today. And it involves Andres Jimenez, who has had a pretty good run against the Rangers. 364 average in the 4 games. Now, the Rangers' second baseman countering Marcus Semien with a 471 batting average against Cleveland. The number's good for both, but Marcus's numbers certainly stand out in the comparison of the two. It's a matchup I think the Rangers would happily take. 1-2 pitch. And Otto deals very high. 2-2.
Mentioned that first inning for Glenn Otto was the first 5 pitches were outside of the strike zone. We were talking him up, and now he's made a really nice adjustment over recent starts when it comes to the walks. He did not walk a batter in his last start. He had 2 in his previous, and then a couple of starts back to back where he had only walked 1. So it was a little bit concerning to see a 4-pitch walk to start the game, but he bounced back pretty nicely.
He ended up throwing 6 strikes in the first inning, 10 balls, but he got the outs he needed. Rosario, Ramirez, and Naylor after that walk. They got the ground out of Gonzalez here. Jimenez making him work a little bit. The 2-2 pitch, there's a foul ball. Keeps the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So that a lot last night. This Cleveland team just fouling off good pitch after good pitch to keep the bats going and trying to force Rangers pitchers into making a mistake. They He really did a good job of that yesterday in a 6-3 win. Here comes 2-2 pitch, and that one rolled down to first. Lowe has it, goes to the bag, 2 away. That was weird. It looked like they were setting up outside. The pitch came way inside, but you got the desired result anyway.
It was effective. 93-mile-an-hour fastball there and the four-seamer from Glenn Otto. You get away with it sometimes. We talk about it a lot. Pitchers don't hit spots as much as people probably realize, and that one did miss significantly, but it was still a strike, right? They're trying to go to the outside part, finishes inside, and you get a ground ball right to Nathaniel Lowe to take care of business.
So with 2 gone, it's Brennan now who fouls this one away. Will Brennan was impressive last night. Our first look at him. Rookie still in his first week of big league action. An 8th round pick out of Kansas State back in 2019. 1 strike offering, and he's right through it. The count 0-2.
Kind of amazing to think we're having a conversation with some Guardians people. Well, I guess it was earlier today about this guy right here and the possibility that he's only played in now his 4th big league game here tonight, and he could be a guy that's starting in the outfield in the postseason for them.
Seems like a pretty good probability of that happening. There's a backdoor breaking ball that misses.
He had good numbers in the minor leagues between AA and AAA. 314 with 13 home runs. How about this? 13 home runs, but drove in 107. 40 doubles for him and 4 triples. That's impressive.
High chopper right over the mound, and Seager throws him out. Brennan gets down that line quickly, but it's a 1-2-3 second inning for Glenn Otto. So we played an inning and a half, no score.
Rangers baseball on Bally Sports is presented by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts.
A scoreless start this evening. Game 2 of our 3-game series. Bottom of the 2nd, the Rangers will send Josh Young, Leody Taveras, and Sam Huff. And Quantrill deals upstairs to Young. Josh at 182 now with 3 homers. Today slots in the 5th spot in the lineup. And he sends this one back up the middle. Jimenez to his right has it, and Young retired, 1 away. We have a moment now to hear from Funtown RV.
At Funtown RV, finding a new RV is easy. With over 15 locations nationwide and the largest selection of new campers at over 40% off MSRP. Shop us at funtownrv.com.
All right, here's Leody Taveras. Leody, switch hitting center fielder, comes in at 267. Wrap up the homestand tomorrow in the final game of this series. Rangers will then be off on their last road trip of the season. They'll go to Seattle and to Anaheim. 1 strike pitch, and Quantrill off the plate. 1-1. Leody 0 for 3 yesterday, but did walk. Scored a run, but he's fallen on some hard times. 2 for his last 16 now.
That was the cutter that, sorry Dave, the cutter that you got there from Quantrill that he throws quite a bit, but it's a little bit more like a slider. It does have some depth to it. And there's some pretty decent amount of speed differential from his fastball. I mentioned right there, he's having a really good year. He's kind of an interesting guy, though, that it's 2-seam fastball cutter. So the 2-seam that goes away, and you get a changeup like that one right there at 86 miles an hour.
His 2nd strikeout of the night.
Lefty's hitting just 230 against Quantrill. Now that one is really far off the plate, but when you know that the 2-seam
Fastball is the go-to pitch, the changeup is disguised really well. It looks the same. It looks like it's going to be outside corner. By the time you realize it's a changeup, it's too late, and then it runs really far off the plate. That was a good one from Quantrill.
Sam Huff now the batter, and he takes a fastball right of the outside corner. Huff hitting .235. Rangers now with 3 catchers, and they seem to be content rotating them behind the plate. And then tonight, as an example, using the DH to get Jonah Hyman there. Huff has reached base safely, though, in 5 of his last 7 starts, and he gets ahead here 2-1. Sam's still such a young guy and loaded with potential, great power. I think long term he's going to be a guy who's going to hit a lot of home runs. 2-1 pitch. And this one in the air, right side, fouling out of play. We've seen some of it in the little that we've gotten to see Sam Huff. It's not that he can hit a home run, it's how far it seems that he can hit home runs. When he ties into one, everybody knows it. He's still just 24 years old. And he hits this ball hard out to the gap in right center field. That's a base hit. Pretty good example. That one 96 off the bat.
And just a really nice piece of hitting. We talk a lot about
Sam Huff and the way that he keeps that head down and on that back shoulder on the follow through, and you'll see it here as the chin just kind of comes right to the right shoulder. What that does for him, it prevents him from pulling off the baseball. When we get something middle away like this, he can drive it to right center field. Yes, he does have that huge power, but he doesn't swing necessarily like a power swinger, where he's pulling off the ball and hitting balls off the end of the bat or chasing pitches down the way. He does stay down on the ball really nicely, keeping that head down and staying through it.
So Smith now the hitter. Huff not a real threat to be moving at first. And this one on the ground foul, 1-1. Smith may be at the other end of the spectrum from Huff in terms of power. He's a guy who most would not expect to hit a lot of home runs, but a real pesky hitter. He holds off, even on the appeal. Pat Oberg. So that's a no swing. 2-1 the count. Smith, the rookie, the Rangers acquired in a trade with the Yankees, former second-round pick by the Yankees, but got him in the deal for Joey Gallo last year, and he takes up at the top of the zone for a strike. It's 2-2.
How about this sequence here so far? Cutter, cutter, changeup, cutter from Quantrill. And if you take a look at the data, the two-seam fastball is the one pitch that Josh Smith has done really well against right-handed pitching. He's hitting .385, and so far Quantrill hasn't thrown his #1 pitch and still hasn't.
Popped up left side near the line and handled by Ramirez. The inning is done. Rangers go quietly again. 2 innings in the book so far tonight. It's 0-0. Tonight as we go to the 3rd inning, it is time for our Blue Cross Blue Shield legend of the game. How about Kenny Lofton? 17 big league seasons, and boy was he a great one. Great base stealer. Back on this date in 1992, he swiped number 62 that year, which established a Cleveland franchise record for a single season. And then 452 career stolen bases. That's most in the franchise's history. 15th most all time for Kenny Lofton.
Faced Kenny Lofton quite a bit. Had called him a teammate in New York for a little while as well, but all those years in Cleveland, and yeah, he was a good player, really good player, and hated when he was on first base.
Just pretty much assume that he'd be going at some point.
I mean, you always have to worry about it, right? And anytime you get a really good runner like Kalo, as he was known, that was problematic. But yeah, it felt like he was a guy that was anxious to be on the move. He was in that situation, though, being in Cleveland in those years where they slugged. It was an unbelievable lineup that they had. And so you certainly did not want to run into any outs. And I would say that in this day and age, if Kenny Lofton was on a club with that kind of lineup, he probably would not steal as much as he did then, because they look at the kind of risk versus reward.
Bouncer by the mound near second base. Taken care of by Simeon. And Hedges retired. For a moment now to hear from Choctaw Casino and Resort.
Elevate your idea of fun and games at Choctaw Casino and Resort Durant.
All right, here's Miles Straw, the speedy center fielder for Cleveland, batting ninth tonight. There's a guy Cleveland got in a deal with Houston last summer at the trade deadline. They sent Phil Maton and Yainer Diaz to Houston. Got Straw back in return. And Straw has had a good month. He's swinging a pretty hot bat for the Guardians right now, but he falls behind 0-2.
The thing that really jumped out to him with me is that, obviously he can run really well. He can play a good center field. He's got 12 assists out there this year. Not a strong arm, doesn't light up necessarily the radar gun and how hard he throws the baseball, but he's probably taking advantage of teams getting aggressive against him and thinking that they could run. And that's something that certainly could show up postseason time. It'll be really important for the Guardians, not just having a guy that can cover some ground, but a guy with 12 assists from center field.
Yeah, he's in terms of defensive runs saved among center fielders, he's currently second in Major League Baseball. Major League center fielders, 15 runs saved. So he's been very good defensively. Part of that.
Second?
What's that?
You said he was second?
Yeah.
Who's first? I feel like I should know off the top of my head. But you never know what with that stat though. You never know. It can be a little bit.
It can be
surprise sometimes.
Yeah. He strikes out here. First strikeout of the night for Glenn Otto.
Elevated fastball here. Otto puts himself in kind of a swing count here, and Straw can't hold up. And it looked like he tried to, but that decision came way too late.
Two gone. It's now the DH. Stephen.
Oh, is it Jose Siri? Might be. Depending on where you look for your defensive run saved, he's up there as well. Tampa, former Astro.
Michael A. Taylor. This one out to left field, caught by Smith to complete a 10-pitch third inning. Well, don't leave us. Keep it right here. We've got Pudge joining us in the booth when we come back. Go to the bottom of the third inning here tonight at Globe Life Field, and always thrilled to be joined by the Hall of Famer, Von Pudge Rodriguez. Pudge, great to see you, man.
Good to see you. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here. This beautiful ballpark, and wow, this is to look high from here.
Yeah, we're up here a little bit. We're okay with it, but yeah, we're a little
I'm
bit
sorry,
high.
I have to say it, but it looks to me like I'm flying from Miami to Florida. From here.
It's a familiar view from your airplane seat.
Bubba Thompson flies out to get things started. You know, it's funny you say that, though, because you do travel a little bit, and I know you were planning this week to head down to Puerto Rico, but that's been tabled for the moment. You're doing once again. It seems like we keep talking after these storms.
Well, yes, the planning is just me still going to Puerto Rico, but now there's another tropical storm forming in the south side, like in the Gulf Stream, and so it's coming up. So it's still a few months of watching the storms forming in the ocean. So this one's supposed to come up, hopefully not. But as the weather says, it's supposed to come up and hit the north, like the west side in Tampa area.
This ball hit a ton out to left field and had just enough to get out. Marcus Semien with his 24th home run of the year.
Well, it looks like I need to come here often.
Where have you been, Pudge?
Instant offense with Pudge Rodriguez in the booth, and the Rangers certainly needed that one as they take a 1-0 lead. Now, you talked about how high we're sitting off the bat. Could you tell that was a homer or not?
Well, it was still going and going and going. Since like disappear. I don't know if because my eyes or something, but it disappeared when I all the way over there.
Now, would you agree that that's probably 15 rows deep if we're still across the street?
Probably. No, but go back to Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is okay. We've been hit hard again, unfortunately. Not as bad as Maria. Maria, just the wind was the big factor back 5 years ago, but this time was the 33 inches of rain.
Yeah.
The rains in Puerto Rico, and when you're talking about 33 inches, it's more than 3 feet of water came to the island. And so, there was some, homes that the water took them, and bridges and all that stuff. But the good thing is that we're doing okay. The power, the water came back, and I've been talking to my mom daily, and everything is going the positive way in Puerto Rico.
Because you unfortunately have been through this before, and we had a very similar conversation a few years ago, and you kind of took us through everything that you were doing and how people can help. What have you kind of learned maybe through those experiences and the best way to help people in Puerto Rico in these situations?
Well, right now, I've been talking to some friends of mine. Raul Rodriguez, he's one of the owners of one of the Puerto Rico teams, the Caguas team that I played for so many years. And Raul and I, we've been working together and helping a lot of people in Puerto Rico. And basically, that's what I've been working with him now, because the south side of the island, CJ, is the one that's been affected the most. So the talking Ponce, Mayagüez, Cabo Rojo, all those areas are the areas that are being more affected by the storm and the floods. So I'm going to be working on that and try to help that area as many as I can.
This one lifted out to center for Straw, 2 away. And I know the Rangers 50-50 raffle tonight. Proceeds are going to Team Rubicon and to help down in Puerto Rico. Rangers also sending some funds via gift cards down there as well. It's all part of what you'll be delivering, no doubt, when you can finally get down there. But boy, it's been a tough run.
Yes. Well, first of all, it touched my heart that the Rangers doing this for Puerto Rico. I always my heart is with all the people back in the island. I know it's not an easy situation when you're going through all these storms and you're losing what you have for so many years, and having the Rangers, doing this for Puerto Rico. I really appreciate that very much.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and skip the commercial break here and keep it here and just keep chatting if you don't mind. A home run by Semien has the Rangers in front 1-0. So it's funny, you retire, you've been elected to the Hall of Fame, and you get to go through that. And people wonder about retirement. Well, how am I going to keep busy? What am I going to do to occupy myself? Well, you have really managed to keep busy, though, man.
Oh yeah, I am very busy. Obviously, I keep myself traveling, as you know, the business that I'm working on, the pizza, tequila, the coffee, the energy business, obviously in Dominican Republic and in Puerto Rico, keeping me very busy. And so I basically, when I retired in 2012, I took basically a year off, and I said to myself, look, I just wanted to continue, travel and pay attention in what I'm doing. And I think for me it's the best way to do. I'm a big believer of, if you want to have a good business in life, you have to be there in present. You have to be there personally and meet with the people in person. And basically that's what I do: travel, meet with the people that I need to meet with. And so far, business is doing very good doing that way.
I always tell people about Pudge's Pizza, of course, right here in Texas Live. You can come to the ballpark. You want to come early, get some Pudge's Pizza, or do it afterwards. What we really kind of need, though, is some Pudge's coffee in the ballpark. And if you wouldn't mind, in the booth here somewhere.
I'm going to work on that 120%.
I mean, Dave's going to get the espresso machine. We just need the beans in the process and to get it done, to get some caffeine.
I'm going to make sure that that's going to happen. But listen, this is one of the things, believe it or not. During the storm, we pick as much coffee that we can, but basically our pretty much the coffee that we already have, the storm, take it with them. So, but anyway, but that's part of that's part of living in the Caribbean islands, because you always expecting those kind of things. But we pick as many as many we can. We have plenty of coffee in our warehouses and making it, and so we're going to be good for, I'd say, maybe another year, maybe a year and a half with it. And so hopefully by the time that we run out, we get some coffee back.
So which of the businesses have you found maybe the most frustrating, the most enjoyable when you talk about?
Oh my God, they're all difficult. If you ask me, I would love to come back and do this.
Easier to play baseball.
Absolutely. But no, I take business as a challenge. I don't think it's difficult. I think, when you put a lot of heart and a lot of work into it, you can do it. You can do a lot of great things, and you can do anything you want. Obviously, you need to have a great group of people around you to make the businesses possible. But obviously, it's a challenge. It's a fun back and forth communication and try to get the deal done. But when you get it, it's a good feeling.
Yeah, the most challenging part, no doubt, are those people who are always trying to chisel free stuff off of you. This is one handled in center field for the first out of the inning. All right, I know you're busy. You have all these different things that you're trying to take care of. Now, one of the things we're doing here this summer is we're sending off Tom Grieve. He's going to retire after this season. He has one more series, the Yankee series at the end of the year, where he's going to work those 4 games. 55 years in this organization. And Tom was the general manager.
Absolutely.
When you were called up as a 19-year-old kid. So what are your thoughts on Tom Grieve as we contemplate life without Tom here in the booth?
Great career, as a manager, as a player, as a manager, as a GM, and now what he's doing as a broadcaster. I think Tom is a good friend. Obviously, I appreciate what he did for me. Obviously, he opened me the door to play this beautiful game that we see in our eyes in front of us. And he was the one that made the call. He and Bobby Valentine, Randy Johnson, the guys back them in the front office that they believe that this kid, that's 19-year-old kid, Ivan Rodriguez, ready to play at the big league level. I remember then when he called me in Chicago, he said, well, we're going to give you this opportunity, but we're going to keep you here for 15 days until Gino Petrali comes back. And I say, okay, I will do my best to do the job, but those 15 days never come back. So for me, I appreciate everything that the Tom, the friendship that we have, the communication that we have every time we see each other. We talk stories, and great man, and he's going to be missed.
Yeah, I think that goes without saying. I love the fact that when you tell that story, you talk about how the deal was, or how they gave you the chance, and then they decided whether or not you would go back down or not. Because the way I hear it a lot of times is that you kind of decided whether or not you'd go back or not. You went in and told them,
I will tell you the story.
Back in 15
I will tell
days.
you the story. Tom Grieve calls me up for 15 days. He tell me, you're going to be in the big league for 15 days until Gino comes back from his back injury. And then Eric Nandel have an interview with me one day there in the dugout in Chicago. He said, well, you go ahead.
That's 2 away.
So he said, well, Pudge, what do you think about, being in the big leagues and knowing that that your role and all that? And the one thing that I say back then, which is my English wasn't that good, I was having a few words. He say, I'm here and I'm not coming back down to AAA, to AA. So that's what I told Eric there. And then Eric said that to Tom Grieve. I said, well, let's see. So we played that series. We started in Chicago, and then from Chicago we went to Oakland, and Oakland we went to Anaheim. And by the time we played, not in the old ballpark, in the really old one, I'm already had about 16, 17 hits before played my first game here at the stadium. So I think that was the story. 17 hits, 18 hits. This 19-year-old kid, and catching Nolan Ryan, 7 inning, no run, and the story was a history.
And not much has changed. He still does what he's going to do.
Right.
Pudge, thank you so much.
I appreciate
Great
it.
to see
Thank you for having me. Appreciate
All right.
it.
Bob Pudge Rodriguez.
All right. Thank you.
Now here we go now into the bottom of the fourth inning. Jonah Heim, Josh Young, and Leody Taveras. It's fun talking to Pudge as Heim hammers that one foul. And the count 0-2 on Jonah. Anyway, always great to see Pudge. It's one of those things where you want to say, like, I mean, we keep meeting under these circumstances, right? Where he's headed down for disaster relief in Puerto Rico. And it's one of those times we got to get him up here just for fun.
It's still fun anyway,
fun.
But you're right. Under some different circumstances would be nice. And that inning went ridiculously fast talking with him. I had like 4 more.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, as we didn't get a chance to get into kind of the modern day catching situation. We saw those highlights of him in kind of the standard position in which he caught like every other catcher did of his generation. And then we see a lot more kind of one-knee catchers. And of course, Jonah Heim. How about a little tie-in here with Pudge Rodriguez, one of 2 catchers in Rangers history with multiple 10-plus home run seasons before they got to the age of 28. That's some cool company to keep.
Yeah.
I also wanted to hear how he felt about the guys catching and air conditioning 81 games a year. Curious his thoughts there after he was an absolute Iron Man and doing it here in Texas outdoors.
Well, I had to get him out of the booth before you hit him up for pizza too, for crying out loud.
I pay for my own pizza when I'm at Texas Live.
I do like my Pudge's pizza though.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have minded so much had you weaseled in for a little of that too.
But
one strike pitch.
Probably not surprising either. You heard the passion that he has in business and how much of your playing career probably helps you in that regard. Certainly you have a lot to learn about how business works, but the work ethic that comes along with it, everything you've done over the years and understanding teamwork and all of those things, and being able to very quickly bounce back from any kind of criticism or struggles, all of that comes into play. And there's some real opportunities, and you do see a lot of athletes get into a variety of different businesses after their careers, and there's something about that foundation as a player that helps.
There's a soft little looper toward third base, and they will get the out at second. Heim was stuck because that one just kind of hovered in the air for a little bit. But Ramirez did a good job of waiting for it and then just getting the easy out at second.
Well, I'll say this. I said uh-oh because Josh Young did not run this really hard. He just assumed it was going to be an out. You see that right there. What Ramirez was doing was trying to get a potential double play, but I don't think Jimenez was kind of hip to the plan because he didn't even think about trying to throw that ball to first base. Not saying that would have got Josh Young, but that's what he was doing. He could see in the corner of his eye that Young was not busting it out of the box.
Now almost pulled that one off is now Leody Taveras. And he'll shoot this one out over third. That one drops in, base hit. And Young stops at second base on the Taveras single. Rangers have a couple of base runners here.
Looks like the cutter here, and it is. They're trying to throw it backdoor. It ends up being kind of right down the middle. If you remember, Leody had a hard time laying off a changeup that was way off the plate. So you do him a favor at his next plate appearance by giving him a cutter inside the strike zone.
All right, so a chance to add to the lead here. It's 1-0 currently. Huff with a chance with 2 men on, and he takes downstairs ball 1. Sam had a base hit in the second inning. And a quick turn and throw back to second. Awkward play back there as Jimenez knocked down by Young.
He took a hit right there. Josh Young, it's not his requirement to slide necessarily, and perhaps Jimenez was thinking that was going to happen. You just have to get back. And he does. If that throw was on target, though, that could have been a problem for Josh Young.
Well, Jimenez ended up on the wrong side of the base, too. He was in the way. This one bounced foul. 1-1. Well, there's really no place for Young to go but over the top of Jimenez, because he ended up on that third base side of the bag. 1-0 Rangers, last of the fourth inning. Quantrill been so good lately, and he gets Huff to chase that one. Strike two. Quantrill got a little 9-game winning streak going, dating back to July 11th. So it's a 14 start stretch now where he's 9-0. But during those 14 starts, the Guardians have gone 13-1. He goes out there, they win, basically, the 1-2, and that is off the plate. Look at that. And he's pitched well, although, oh look, the 3.24 ERA, that's nice and all. It's not like it's some microscopic earned run average. The reality is they score a ton of runs when he pitches, way more than they score for anybody else. 2-2. Swinging and a miss. He strikes out Huff for the second out of the inning. All right, it's a good time now for a Rangers Golden Player, brought to you by Frontier. Better, faster, 100% fiber, and who better than Pudge Rodriguez tonight, the 14-time All-Star. All those Gold Gloves, 13 of them, and the all-time leader in games caught.
Did you see that one play earlier where, in that highlight reel right there, where he got plowed over at home plate? I couldn't tell who the runner was, and then he was patting him on the back to make sure like he was okay. The game has changed pretty dramatically in that regard, but that's how tough and good he was behind the plate. And we saw some highlights earlier as well. The way that he threw the baseball, and I think it might have been that one of those throws in his debut. People did not know much about him at all. They learned very quickly. I believe it was Julio Franco was playing second base at the time. It was just an absolute missile of a throw. Runner was out by a handful of feet. There's the play at the plate.
You got to make sure you're okay.
It's like almost like, hey, you'll be okay. You'll hope you survive that.
Young at second, Taveras at first. Here he comes. Smith rips it down to first base. Good pick by Naylor, and he'll go to the bag himself. Inning is over. Rangers leave a couple. Fifth inning coming up here tonight with the Rangers on top, 1-0. So far so good, 1-0 Rangers tonight as we go to the fifth inning. And tomorrow, excited to celebrate Tom Grieve. The first 10,000 fans are going to get a Tom Grieve bobblehead presented by United Concordia. Tickets still available at TexasRangers.com. All right, now in the fifth, and the pitch from Otto, that one eases right in there for a strike. It'll be Oscar Gonzalez, Andres Jimenez, and Will Brennan. 5th, 6th, and 7th hitters in the lineup today for the Guardians. This ball hit out to left field, hang it up a little bit. Smith is back near the wall, and that's gone. For Jimenez, his 10th home run of the year. He's tied this game at 1.
And while nobody's happy to see that home run, I am pretty happy to see those jerseys out there. You saw number 24 Dorn and number 99 Vaughn. Of course, fictional characters from, and even the manager, Lou Brown. That's some group right there.
I hate it right there.
And they did get themselves a souvenir. This is the slider from Glenn Otto. This one popped up out of the hand just a little bit there, not much. It's really just a good-looking swing, kind of on the money for Gonzalez. The slider's been one of the stronger pitches for Glenn Otto, even here tonight, but has been all season long.
Too high? What do you mean too high? Went upstairs for a ball. Remember last night the Rangers got off to a 2-0 lead, and it wasn't until the fourth inning when Cleveland got its first hit of the night. Ahmed Rosario led off the inning with a triple, would later score on an error. Tonight they waited to the 5th inning to get their first hit. Now this one lined out to center field. That one gets past Leote. And Jimenez cruising to second. He'll stop there with the double.
Leote tried to take an angle to cut this off and keep it at a single. There's a curveball here, looks like from Glenn Otto right there in the middle of the plate. And we know how well Leote runs, but this ball was stung pretty hard, and so he gets there, thinks, and can't quite get it as he lunges at it. But he does a nice job of making sure he gets this ball in quickly so that does not turn into a triple. Yeah, the way, I don't say he pulled up, but almost his body language felt like he had a beat on it, and then snuck past him.
So man in scoring position now for Will Brennan. Brennan grounded out his first time up. He swings over the top of the breaking ball there. Strike one. Last night the Guardians were 4 for 13 with runners in scoring position. This is their first chance here tonight. The only other base runner they've had outside of this inning was the leadoff walk to Stephen Kwan in the first inning. 4 pitches into the game. And they had not had another runner until that home run a moment ago by Gonzalez. 0-2 on Will Brennan now.
That's one of the things about the Guardians. We know that they've been a high average team with not necessarily a lot of power, but they've done a good job scoring runs. And the assumption would be, I think, that they would be near the top when it comes to that batting average with runners in scoring position, but they've just kind of been middle of the road. They came in at 259 tonight. It's 13th in baseball. Just seems like whatever they do, whenever they do it, it counts. Home runs at the right time, not a lot of them. Base hits with runners in scoring position, not a ton, but at the right time.
Ooh, swing and a miss, and Brennan strikes out for the first out of the inning.
Slider here from Glenn Otto and perfectly located ahead in the count. You go down below the zone and get that lefty to swing right over the top of it. I mentioned the slider, even though he let up a home run, it's been a really good pitch for Glenn Otto this year, but really kind of spectacular. Look at the horizontal movement that he gets, right? The right to left. 16.6 inches on average for Glenn Otto. It's the second highest number in baseball. Nobody sweeps the slider. Almost nobody more than Glenn Otto. The other guy, Jordan Lyles with the Orioles.
Wow.
Is the one guy ahead of him.
There's a pop up to Seager for the second out of the inning. Hedges quietly retired, 2 away.
Got guys like Christian Javier in there as well. He's got a really good slider for the Houston Astros. But Glenn Otto, when it comes to the movement that he gets, that right to left horizontal movement, one of the best in the game.
Well, here's Miles Straw. He struck out in the 3rd inning, 0 for 1. A 1-1 ball game. Yesterday, Cleveland with a 6-3 victory. The month of September for Straw. He's kind of a light hitting center fielder, except this month, and that is outside. He's really put it together. We talked earlier about the very good defense and the good throwing arm that he provides Cleveland with a premium center field position, but the offense is just kind of an added bonus when they get it, and they're getting it this month. And there's a good breaking ball. 1-1. Might be part of the reason why this Guardians team is as hot as they are. They have won 16 of their last 19 games. This one in the air down the right field line. Long run for Bubba Thompson, and good slide into that netting. He makes the catch to end the inning, and it looks like he's okay. You get a little concerned when you see that, though.
You certainly do. Bubba Thompson, we know great speed out in right field tonight. We usually see him in left field, but how about this play here? Slide.
All tied up now after the home run a moment ago by Gonzalez. And so now bottom of the 5th inning. Rangers will go to work. Bubba Thompson just made that great sliding catch a moment ago. Leads it off here. 0 for 1. And Quantrill gets him to foul this one away. It's quickly no balls, 2 strikes on Bubba. Pardon me. 1-1. There's a swing and a miss. Then it'll be Semien and Seager. Quantrill last year, he led the Cleveland rotation with an ERA of 2.89. Did the most innings on the club as well. This year has been a force in the middle of their rotation. And he gets Thompson to swing and miss at strike 3. That's his 4th strikeout of the night. 1 away, and we check in with Emily.
We had a chance to talk to Chris Young today just about kind of what's going on within the front office. Obviously a bit of a, actually a really busy time for the front office right now. They start conducting exit interviews next week. They'll do that on the major league side first. Of course, Round Rock still playing Frisco in the playoffs, and so a lot of things going on in addition to the managerial search. He said Tony Beasley is absolutely still a candidate and feels like he's done an outstanding job and a better job than the record indicates. They feel like they've cleaned some things up, kind of on the back end of things that we don't necessarily see out here on the field, and thinks he's been fantastic in this role, commands the room, has the respect of the clubhouse, and so he does feel like Tony is absolutely a candidate, but of course they're going to do a thorough search, but a lot going on for the front office as the season winds down, and then obviously do their due diligence throughout the playoffs and then get the free agent season going in November. One other note, he did add Martin Perez and his representation, and the Rangers front office kind of decided to table talks on a contract extension until after the season is over.
That's certainly some interesting news, and good that they've had some conversations for Martin. Everybody wants to see him back, no doubt.
There's ball 4 to Semien. Rangers have a base runner here in the 5th inning. Quantrill now will have to contend with Corey Seager, who doubled off him earlier tonight. 1 for 2. 3rd time through the order. He's careful with Semien, who had homered off him in the 3rd inning, and we'll see how careful he wants to be with Seager. Seager's had some good swings. We'll take inside ball 1.
Take a look at Quantrill and what he has done as he's faced lineups certain times through the order, and here we are 3rd time through. Now 2nd time there's been a significant amount of damage done. 261 3rd time through, still a pretty good number. He's got a respectable on base. It's actually lower the on base percentage 3rd time through than it is the 1st or the 2nd.
This ball hit well down toward that left field corner and caught right up against the fence out there by Brennan for the 2nd out of the inning. I mean, hit it close enough to the foul line that you were thinking it might just sneak out down there.
Yeah, I think Corey thought this one had a chance to get out. You kind of look at the reactions of hitters. You trust them. They certainly know. And the way that Corey looked at this ball, he thought maybe there was going to be enough to get it out of here, but it fell just a little bit short. Nice play, by the way, left field there by Brennan. A guy obviously hasn't been in the big leagues very long. That's not an easy play. We saw Bubba Thompson over there in left field and kind of dealing with that angled wall. It's a challenge, no doubt. A little bit different than most ballparks.
He almost overran that. 2 gone, and here is Lowe. Quantrill will break contact and reset. Nathaniel's 0 for 2. He is struck out and grounded out.
I'd love to see Quantrill be one of those cutters in the middle of the plate for Nathaniel Lowe. That is a sweet spot for him and where he has done much of his damage this year.
One upstairs, ball 1. .25 home runs, 72 RBIs for Nathaniel. Quantrill's 1-0 pitch, and that's outside.
How about a little StatCast powered by Google Cloud and taking a look at The Ranger first baseman Nathaniel Lowe, in his career, 19 hits against the both Indians and Guardians, and there they all are. 14 singles, a double, and 4 home runs. That was kind of a fun way to show all those. Just an explosion of hits for Lowe against the Guardians. Of course, we're going to let him run around the bases, too, underneath all the fake fireworks.
3-0. Quantrill being a little more careful this inning. He already walked Semien. That was his first walk of the night, and he's in danger of doing the same thing here with Lowe. Jonah Heim waits on deck. And the pitch fouled back. It's 3-1. Quantrill, we mentioned earlier how good he was last year, how good he's been this year, just 27 years old. One of 9 players involved in a big trade in August of 2020. Came over from the Padres. He, along with his battery mate Austin Hedges. And that is off the plate. Ball 4. Another walk in the inning. Rangers have 2 men on. And it moves Semien into scoring position.
Well, one of the things we showed you there, third time through the order, and the numbers, what we didn't get to show you was that it's less than half the time that he actually gets that opportunity. There's about 92 batters faced third time through the order for Quantrill, compared to the 216 batters he faced first time through. So it's not as if he gets through that third time all the way through that lineup very often. He has never faced a hitter all season long for a 4th time. And he's been pretty much kind of a 5-inning pitcher, 6 here and there for the Guardians this season.
Jonah Heim goes after the first pitch, but lines it right out to Straw to end the inning. Rangers will leave a couple. We go to the 6th inning tonight. Low scoring affair, tied at 1.
Rangers baseball on Bally Sports is brought to you by Funtown RV, Texas's #1 selling RV dealer.
Well, we're off to the 6th inning. 1-1 ball game. Don't make a habit of it.
Oh, nice. Wasn't sure where you're going to go.
Cheating a little ice cream or something, right? Oh, my. Top of the order. It'll be Kwan, Rosario, and Ramirez.
You didn't go to Catholic school, did you, as a kid?
No, I did not.
Oh, I did. For a long time. 12 years. Not counting 2 more in college. Boy, 12 years at Catholic school, familiar with the nuns. Had a couple nuns over the years as teachers. Good disciplinarians.
How many wraps across the knuckles for you?
You know, a few. And they were justified.
It's a strike, 2-1 on Kwan. Did you ever just offer them up preemptively? Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, the intimidation factor when you knew you were in trouble, though, my goodness, it was real. And it was scary.
Little bouncer goes foul along the first baseline. Top of the order for the Guardians. 1 run on 2 hits so far tonight. Rangers a run on 5 hits. Kind of similar to last night, where the Rangers out hit the Guardians, but lost the game by 3 runs. Rangers stranded a ton of runners yesterday. Here's a 2-2 pitch, and Kwan shoots it out to left field. Smith was playing in, and he's able to make the catch. 1 away. Let's pause now for a word from Kia.
Presenting Kia's lineup of exceptionally capable all-wheel drive SUVs.
One out. Brock Burke getting ready in the Rangers pen in case he's needed.
Otto's first offering. This one hit hard out to right field, and a leaping effort by Thompson. It caroms off the fence. Rosario headed for third. Here comes a throw, not in time. His second double in the series and a league best 9th of the season. Pardon me, triple.
I got to tell you, I was shocked that he went for this one, and there was zero hesitation. This was some unbelievable base running on the part of Rosario. First of all, the effort level that you get in right field from Bubba Thompson, trying to make a great play. He almost did. A good backup in center by Taveras, but how about never slowing down as you get a look at Rosario? His on the money base running, and something that the Guardians have done very well this year. We talked about that base running stat earlier in the season. The Rangers are the best in baseball, but the Guardians, well, they're 5th. What they call that BSR stat over at Fangraphs, which is a website that tracks a lot of kind of interesting different metrics. The base running one definitely gets deep. So it's a good one. It's not just about stolen bases, taking extra bases. A lot of the little things that go into base running, and the Guardians have been excellent.
Rosario's at third, the 1-0 to Ramirez, and that one is in the dirt. Now our TXU power stats, Jose Ramirez, 412 extra base hits since the start of 2017, and that is most in baseball. You just don't hear Jose Ramirez's name, frankly, enough, given his value, his production over the years. Maybe it's because he plays in Cleveland. I don't know. But man, he's been good. Fouls that one away.
He certainly has, and you wonder if he's ever going to get that MVP. 2 third-place finishes, a second-place finish, 6th last year. It's tough to do, obviously, winning an MVP. And he's not going to be in the conversation this year, not have a legitimate chance to win it, not with Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani. He could end up having, one of the greatest careers without an MVP. Here he is in his age 29 season.
2-2. Talked about it a little bit last night, but a guy who kind of reached out on his own to ownership this year after contract discussions were stalling between his agent and the team, and fundamentally just helped explain where he was mentally, and that he wanted to be with Cleveland. He did not want to get traded, and he did not need to get signed for the moon, if you will. He just needed a fair contract to stay. There's a swing and a miss. He strikes out here. 2 gone.
What a huge strikeout that was for Glenn Otto. You got a guy who is as good as Jose Ramirez and a runner at third, less than 2 outs, and you get him to expand and go outside of the strike zone and come up empty. That is a big strikeout now. Bees is coming out to get him, but my goodness, this was pretty amazing. And Glenn Otto would love to have the opportunity to finish this inning after that huge strikeout. I don't know if we have seen a signal yet. No, the clapping tells you that, yeah, he's probably done. It's a good job by Glenn Otto.
A real nice evening tonight. He leaves with a man at third in a 1-1 ball game, and Brock Burke coming on.
Check out the T-Mobile coverage cam, and Glenn Otto tonight for the Rangers threw the ball extremely well. A handful of strikeouts in tonight's game. Miles Straw chasing a fastball. Then it was the breaking ball down in the dirt for Brendan. But that one right there, perhaps the biggest one of the night. You got a great hitter like Jose Ramirez. Used the fastball to get him to chase outside the strike zone. The guy who was hitting .322 with runners in scoring position. 5 2/3 for Otto tonight. 1 run allowed. Now the runner on third, of course, is his. 3 punch outs to go along with the 1 walk. But he was great. 73 pitches for Otto. Another good outing turned in by the Ranger rookie.
Well, Burke has been awfully good out of the pen. Takes over for him, and the pitch to Naylor is a little high for a ball.
A huge year for Brock Burke. It'll be game number 50 right now here tonight. 1.53 ERA is the lowest among all major league rookies. 76 2/3 innings, 6 home runs allowed, and just a .202 batting average against. With the 4-seam fastball, slider, changeup, and 2-seam fastball from Burke. Strategically, it is absolutely the right call, in my opinion, to go ahead and bring in Brock Burke to face Naylor to get the left on left. But after that big strikeout from Otto, I'd love to have seen him got that opportunity to maybe finish off the 6th inning.
Well, bouncer right side of the infield, and that'll be an easy hop for Semien. The inning is over. So Rosario's triple doesn't end up blossoming. And we'll go to the bottom of the 6th inning. This game's still tied at 1.
Bottom 6, Indians and Rangers all knotted up at 1. Josh Young up to bat for Texas, and it has been a bit of an up and down to this brief major league career of Josh Young. And Tony Beasley said, look, there's a lot that comes with coming up here, especially when you've played limited games in the minor leagues. He's handled himself well. He's adjusting well, understands the game, recognizes how he's being pitched, and understands the urgency that comes with everything here. And probably the most impressive thing is he's not showing that frustration. He realizes that this is all part of the process, and if he's going to be a big leaguer for any amount of time, that adjustment process is one that is going to last throughout the duration of his career.
Hey, Em, did you watch any college football today?
I did. And it was funny. I was watching during my pregame hit, and Josh Young's parents were right in the front and could see me, and they're like, touchdown. And anyway, going back and forth. So I was able to share with Josh that the Red Raiders pulled out the victory over Texas today just before the game started.
It was pretty intense in here in the booth and watching Emily watch that game. I was like, I hope you don't talk to your children like that. That was pretty.
You don't talk to anyone like that.
Bless me.
Like Tom Hamilton blush. It was fun. I get a kick out of it. I like watching sports with anybody who has that kind of enthusiasm for their team. Is pitch in there for a strike to Young. 3-1 the count.
Yeah, and what a day it is here around the ballpark. Somewhere around 100,000 fans between what we have here at Globe Life Field, what's going on across the street or next door, I guess, with Texas Tech and Arkansas. 65,000 expected there. It's a good day to be at Texas Live if you like crowds.
A&M in Arkansas. There's
what
a
I
walk
say?
to Young. Well, you're still hung up on the Texas Tech game.
My bad. Sorry. I am hung up on it.
I mean, the Red Raider enthusiasm around here is just kind of off the charts. Well, Young is on, and Taveras steps in now.
I'm thinking like they couldn't come up with something to do with Choctaw, just try to blow this whole place out.
I know.
Choctaw Stadium and soccer game or something, or high school football game.
There probably is something going on over there too.
There's
got to be a limit though. There's a bunt attempt, third base side, just foul. That one played pretty well. 0-1 on Leote.
Yeah, that's a pretty good point. I think a limit now, but then this place continues to expand. A lot of building going on.
Yeah.
But that would be something, the idea of all three ballparks getting used, stadiums at the same time for something. Even when, this entire week when we first got back, we talked about the Red Hot Chili Peppers and the concert and everything that was going on with the Cowboys having their game that night. It was chaos around here. Fun time.
Another bunt third base side. Ramirez will throw to first, and they are able to get Leote. Young moves up though to second base.
Good looking bunt here from Leote Taveras. Now you're always thinking, could he turn this into a hit? But what he does so well here is he hangs in to make sure that he gets the sacrifice down. We've talked about this a lot with bunters. Sometimes they get a little selfish and don't hang in there thinking about, can I get a hit while I'm supposed to be sacrificing? But this is sacrifice first, and Taveras does exactly that.
So that gets a very important base runner into scoring position. A 1-1 game here in the 6th. Now a base hit by Huff or Josh Smith, who follows. Should get the Rangers in the lead. This one lifted high in the air out to center field. Straw settling underneath it makes the catch. Tagging at second, Young heads to third. The throw is behind him, and he does advance on the fly out to center. 2 out in the inning, but the Rangers have a man 90 feet away.
Well, we're talking about the arm of Miles Strauss earlier. It's not so much that he has an arm that lights up the radar gun, but it's the accuracy. And you see Josh Young here getting aggressive. He waited till the ball was in the glove, but look at the accuracy of this throw. I mean, that is right on the money. One bounce. Now Jose Ramirez went and got it, and think he could get there faster if he got the baseball quicker and got the tag down. But that throw would have went right over the third base bag.
Well, 2 outs now. It's going to be up to Smith to figure out how to get Young home from third, and he'll take upstairs ball 1.
And to kind of put that in perspective, that throw for Miles Straw was 83 miles an hour. Leody Taveras pretty consistently is mid to upper 90s out there in center. And 83 miles an hour is below league average. Your average outfielder sits around 88. But the accuracy, right? You're thinking, man,
another 5 or 6 miles an hour out of that arm, and you may see that number even accelerate. It's a good one right now with 12 assists this season for Strong. But yeah, that guy right there, he does it all. Power and accuracy.
1-1 pitch, and that one finds inside corner, strike 2. We got excellent news on Albombi today before the ball game. The fact that the X-rays came back negative and he's okay. Out of the lineup today, and that's probably just a good prudent move. But boy, when he got hit yesterday on the hand, that looked ugly and really scary the way he reacted. 1-2 pitch, and Josh trying to hold up. He did. 2-2. I'll check in with Emily.
We thought that Adolis Garcia was going to be available off the bench, but Tony Beasley told me mid-game that he's going to give him the day. I think he just wants to make double sure that Adolis is good to go, the bionic man.
I think it makes some sense this time of the season as well for Garcia. You got a day game tomorrow, off day Monday. If he wasn't feeling great and you put him out there today, then you get the short recovery time with that day game tomorrow, so you kind of pick your spots. And who knows, if he were to say tomorrow he comes in a little bit sore, I might give him another day. And then you
especially with Monday off.
Yeah, that's 3 days off you end up having. We'll see.
We saw him get a 3-day stretch off here recently, and he came back just crushing baseballs. So it's not the worst thing in the world for him to get a little break every now and then. What a year it has been for Adolis Garcia. Smith battling up there with Quantrill, the 3-2 pitch, and this one is in the air left field. Brennan was shallow, angling back, and has time to get underneath it. The inning is over. Rangers leave a man at third base. 7th inning coming up. This game's still tied at 1.
Here at Globe Life Field, just 2 runs scored, and both of them on homers. How about Marcus Semien out to left field? That one just barely got out. Semien, of course, been crushing it here lately for the Rangers. That was home run number 24, but he was not the only one. We saw this home run from Oscar Gonzalez, his 10th of the season. And that's been it. A couple of solo home runs. It is 1-1 here as we go to the top of the 7th inning. Cal Quantrill, 6 innings, 5 hits, 4 punchouts. Glenn Otto, 5 2/3. Just 3 hits allowed, 3 strikeouts of his own. So a really well-pitched game here tonight at Globe Life Field.
And importantly, as we find ourselves in the 7th inning, this one fouled off by Gonzalez. Importantly, the Rangers worked their way around the 6th inning, because the 6th inning in the month of September had been a tough one, and Tony Beasley's been a little, I won't say gun shy about it, but he's well aware of the struggles. And we saw him make the pitching change last inning. Partly, as you pointed out, it seemed like the right strategic move. These games matter because the Guardians still working toward clinching a division. They're very much in the postseason conversation, so you want to play these as competitively as possible. But the Rangers in the month of September have allowed 17 runs in the 6th inning, and that's the most in baseball. So he figured, no, not going to mess with it. Let's make sure we get through it. Last night, we saw 5 runs by the Guardians in that 6th inning.
When you have a trend like that, you dig in, you look at it, and you have to ask yourself, and you use your analytics people as well, and everybody, and say, well, here, is there a rhyme or reason to what is happening? Are we making some decisions that we shouldn't be making? Are we getting bit on maybe trying to stretch out a starter a little bit too long? And you go through all that, and you draw some conclusions, and then maybe you make your adjustments accordingly. Now, last night's ball game, Taylor Hearn just had a bad night. Unfortunate for him, and it's been a while. And we've seen something like that where all of a sudden it was hit after hit, and a lot of contact from the Guardians. And you hate to see him have it late in the year. Been there. Third of an inning, 5 runs. Tough when you're coming out of the bullpen and what that can mean to an ERA.
Well, a strikeout of Gonzalez, 1 away. We check in again with Emily.
Yeah, and Tony Beasley really feels like that 6th inning is the most pivotal inning in the game. Not just talking about, the last couple of weeks, but just the fact that, now the way bullpens are structured, you've usually got 3 guys that you feel like, if you can get into the 7th that you feel comfortable with, as far as locking down a lead or, preventing the scoring. And so that is such a pivotal inning in Tony Beasley's eyes. And he said, it used to be getting into the 7th. Getting into the 8th, because you had that setup man and then the closer. But now the way the game has changed, you've got to get into that 7th inning before you can kind of breathe a little easier.
And a lot of times, too, how's your bullpen set up, right? And managers understand based on when they have a fully rested bullpen, where the areas where they might be the weakest. And for a lot of teams, that 6th inning certainly is one of those spots. How do you connect your starter to your biggest arms in your bullpen? I feel like we've seen a little bit more of this. Tony Beasley, Cole Calhoun, and conversations that are going on in game. And you do like seeing that from veteran players. And, some guys that in Cole Calhoun's career's not near the end or anything like that. But, I think sometimes you've been around for a long time. You like having those conversations with managers and getting a feel for, what makes you dance, what gets you excited. And apparently Cole knows exactly what it is for Tony Beasley.
That's great. This ball hit hard out to right field, back near the wall, and it is gone. Andres Gimenez with his 17th home run of the year, and the Guardians have jumped out in front, have their first lead of the night. It's 2-1.
Again, not a team that necessarily slugs and certainly doesn't hit a ton of home runs. It's not the name of the game for the Guardians. 118 coming into this game. That's 29th in baseball, the second fewest home runs hit. But here they are with 2 solo shots tonight, and ones that matter, and it's now Gimenez, and doing it against Brock Burke, something we don't see very often. Talked a lot about the great season that he is having. That's just the second home run that he has allowed to a left-handed hitter this year.
A big home run for Gimenez. 2-1, Cleveland on top. And Brennan hits this one on the ground to shortstop. Seager very well positioned, throws him out. That's the second out of the inning. How about a message now from TXU Energy? Two gone. Here's Austin Hedges.
I wonder how many times a team, when we've had 30, finished the season 29th in home runs hit and went to the postseason. I can't imagine it happens too often. Now we got expanded postseason, and we'll probably continue to get more expanded postseason. But to hit as few home runs as the Guardians have hit this year, and they're going to be a postseason team, not just a postseason team, a division winner. 29th in homers.
At the plate, 1-1. Boy, at a time where it seems like everybody tries to do kind of the same thing around baseball, and they've just gone about it in a very different way. Burke's pitch, this one fouled off. Strike 2 on Austin Hedges. Sam Hedges is warming up in the bullpen for Cleveland.
The question you have to ask yourself as an organization, what roster do I best have the chance of putting together?
One that can slug, or one that's similar to what they got here in Cleveland?
Bouncer second base. Hedges retired. The inning is over, but
the home run by Gimenez has given Cleveland the 2-1 lead. It's stretch time. Time for God Bless America. Let's turn it over to public address announcer Chuck Morgan.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. Will you please rise and direct your attention down the third baseline and welcome back Ashley Mahon. Ashley will now sing God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the ocean wide with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
Well, last to the 7th inning has arrived. Rangers going to have to come from behind tonight, trailing 2-1. And Sam Hentges indeed into the game.
We saw Hentges last night, inning in a third, 26 pitches, had a couple of strikeouts and a hit, no runs across. Overall, it's been a really strong season for the left-hander. You see 68 strikeouts in 58 2/3 innings, 3 home runs allowed, 4-seam fastball, 2-seam fastball, curveball and slider, with the heater averaging around 96 miles an hour.
First pitch, a breaking ball for ball 1 to Bubba. Bubba will lead it off and then back up to the top of the order. Kind of a quiet night offensively. The teams have combined for a total of 9 hits. 1-0 pitch. That was a big swing and a miss. Thompson has flied out and struck out. 0 for 2. Oh, there's another big curveball. This is low. So we're into the bullpens tonight. Rangers started their bullpen effort with Brock Burke. He's gone an inning and a third, probably done. Looks like Matt Moore has started to throw in the Rangers pen. The 2-1 pitch fouled off. Moving things up. There is Matt. Meanwhile, even with Hentges just starting his outing in this 7th inning, Nick Sandlin has already begun to throw in the Guardians bullpen. So Terry Francona won't be too careful here. I mean, it's a 1-run game, so not a whole lot of room for error. And again, these games quite meaningful for Cleveland as they chase their division title. Magic number 3 coming into play today.
Yeah, it's interesting because you got a couple of righties here, Thompson, Simeon, and then it's Seager and Lowe, and you get a switch hitter in Jonah Heim, and you feel like Hentges is in there for at least 4 hitters at least, and probably 5.
Tapper back near the mound, and Hentges takes care of Bubba. 1 away.
That just makes the idea that they have somebody up in the bullpen at the beginning of the inning kind of interesting.
Now here's Marcus Semien. He's been on twice. Had the home run in the 3rd inning. He walked his last time up.
It's a good bullpen they have here in Cleveland. 3.1 is the ERA, 5th best in baseball, 3rd best in the American League.
Marcus takes a good fastball there, 96 miles per hour upstairs. I say good, I mean just a hard fastball, very firm there at 96. Here's the breaking ball, and it falls in for a strike.
So Cal Quantrill went to 6 innings, allowed a run on 5 hits. Worked around 3 walks tonight. Rangers lately seem to have done a little better in that regard. Another curveball fouled away. And strike 2 on Marcus. I feel like on this homestand, the Rangers have won that battle of walks and strikeouts more times than not. And they did win the series against the Angels, trying to even this series tonight. And there's a second hit of the night for Semien as he drops it out into left field. Been on 3 times again tonight. So Marcus continues to be scalding hot.
Yeah, he's locked in, and these kind of swings kind of are indicative of that. It's a breaking ball that is down, and he's out front. It's a good location. It's a good pitch, but Marcus stays back just long enough. Kind of cut it off the end a little bit, but to make sure that he got that base hit.
That's a big base runner out there now for Corey Seager, who's 1 for 3. And the first pitch rolled the shortstop where the third baseman Ramirez begins a double play. Wow, just like that, the base runner disappears. 8th inning coming up. Still 2-1.
Tonight we find Mr. Adolis Garcia in his 4th big league season. Pre-game meal, chicken quesadillas, favorite team, FC Barcelona, and favorite holiday, Christmas. What's your favorite holiday, fellas?
Opening day.
Okay, I like it. Dave?
All-Star Week.
Okay. I'm a Thanksgiving girl myself. I really
you know
love
what?
Thanksgiving.
Em, you're right. You're right.
I just eat so much food and then drink a glass of wine and take a nap.
You know what I love about, I'm with you, Em. Thanks. I remember my dad used to always say that. That was his favorite holiday, and I could never understand that. And now as an adult, I totally get it. Thanksgiving is the best. You get everybody together, the family and whatnot. You enjoy the company, you have fun, and there's none of that pressure.
Nope.
You know, with the gifts and all that sort of stuff.
Don't have to show up with anything.
Nope.
Just a big
incorrect.
appetite.
Well, a bottle.
Should bring something.
Well,
something.
yeah. Some mashed potatoes or something.
Her own fork, her own knife. I'm ready.
Yeah, I really do enjoy Thanksgiving. It's a good call, Em.
Thank you.
8th inning here. 2-1 Cleveland. And they're trying to make it 2 in a row over the Rangers. And that's the way we look at it, right? But the way I think Cleveland looks at it right now is they just want to make it another win in a long stretch of wins. They have reeled off 5 in a row now. As I mentioned earlier, 16 of their last 19. How about this? Since July 31st, that sounds like forever ago to me. There's a strike, full count. Since July 31st, Cleveland has lost a sum total of 5 games on the road.
Wow.
Are you kidding me? 5 games? Here we are near the end of September. The 3-2 pitch. Well, that's fouled back.
And they've been really good in games like this. 1-run games as they lead it by 1 here in the top of the 8th inning. .619 is the winning percentage for the Guardians in 1-run games, 2nd best in baseball. Of course, that's been a big topic of conversation around here, but you can see it. A team that has to do the little things right. There's no option. If you want to have any kind of chance at winning, the base running that we talked about, the defense, the bullpen, and pitching in general, all those things have to be on point pretty consistently. And they have been this year.
Straw draws a walk to begin things here in the 8th inning. Kwan coming up. How about those last 7 roadies for the Guardians? One of the things that stands out there is that the offense has really come around for them in September here and in this last great stretch that they've had on the road. Nearly 6.5 runs per game. Burt gets a little bunt out in front of the plate. Kwan retired on a sacrifice for the first out of the inning. And Straw now in scoring position. And here comes Ahmed Rosario. 1 for 3 tonight with a triple last time up.
Same two teams tomorrow, a little earlier, 1:35 first pitch tomorrow. That'll wrap things up. Rangers will hit the road and head out to the West Coast one last time. While the Guardians will be going home. This one fouled off by Rosario, strike one.
You can see the probables for tomorrow's ball game down there on the Valley Bar. Aaron Savaldi for the Guardians, Cole Reagans for the Rangers. Good to see Cole Reagans get that first big league win.
Burt from the stretch, and that one fouled off in the count 0-2.
So you saw that sacrifice bunt by the Guardians?
Yep.
About 5th, 6th in baseball this year is kind of where they've kind of huddled all year. There is a team in baseball that does not have a sacrifice bunt this year.
Wow. 2-strike pitch. This one hit hard out to center field. It's going to be trouble. Bounces up off the warning track and into the bullpen. A book rule double, but Straw able to score from second base thanks to that sacrifice bunt. And it's now 3-1 Cleveland.
It's a good piece of hitting, and this is good baseball by the Guardians. Leadoff walk, bunt him over, put him in scoring position. And then a really nice opposite field double here. Off the bat of Rosario. He goes up and gets a tough fastball. We don't see this very often against Brock Burke. Of course, he's got the fastball with a really good carry, good velocity. It plays very well up in the strike zone. That's just some tremendous hitting by Amed Rosario. So any guesses? Now the Diamondbacks have the most sacrifice bunts this year, 28.
I do have a guess, actually. I'm going to guess the Dodgers because they don't need sacrifice bunts.
It's a good guess, but the Dodgers are 29th in baseball with their 3 sac bunts.
Right, then the Yankees.
The New York Yankees are 12th in baseball with their 13 sacrifice bunts.
Okay, so
but you're on the right path. Slugging offenses will be my hint.
Okay, I was going to ask you if I needed to go down that road or if I needed to go down the the road of the team trying to outsmart the rest of the planet.
Well, we know that for a long time when A.J. Hinch was in Houston, he seemed, and also over the years with Joe Madden, things like they talk about the quirky guys that almost want to prove something.
Right.
But neither one of those guys, obviously Joe Madden no longer with the Angels, but no, neither one of those guys. We're going to get an intentional walk here to Jose Ramirez.
Not, well, I don't know if this exactly fits what you were saying, but what about the Twins?
The Minnesota Twins, 16th in baseball with their 10 sacrifice bunts this year.
Houston?
The Houston Astros are 19th in baseball.
We're running out of teams.
With their 8 sacrifice bunts this year.
A little bit high. 2 balls and no strikes on Naylor. The Toronto Blue Jays.
The Toronto Blue Jays.
And I always know I'm wrong when you start with that.
I'm looking for them. Where are they? They're also tied for 19th with their 8 sacrifice bunts this year.
Nippon Ham Fighters.
The Nippon Ham Fighters are 5th in the NPB with 743 sacrifice bunts this year. It is Japan. They sacrifice bunt quite a bit.
Rosario second, Ramirez at first. A run across here in the 8th inning. Runners going. The pitch is a strike. The throw to third, and they got him. Rosario caught for just the 4th time this year, and he doesn't argue. 2 away.
Quite honestly, it felt like they had him the first time. It looked like he also may have slid off the bag, and that's when the call came. But this throw was on the money. As you're going to see Josh Young coming over to cover. Well, he actually may have missed the tag there. The throw was there in time, but perhaps the tag was not applied. It's a good job by Josh Young to make sure he stays on the base runner. Just in case. Yeah, he actually did miss right there. Wow. And see, and that's Josh, and I get it. He's busting it to get over there, but he went past the bag. You got to get there fast and be able to break down and still hold the bag.
Oh, a strikeout of Naylor ends the inning. So who is the team?
The Atlanta Braves do not have a sacrifice bunt this year.
All right. Well, we're up to the bottom of the 8th inning. Rangers offense needs to come up with something here and quickly.
Of the 8th inning, and it's been a rough season obviously for these Rangers record-wise, but one of the bright spots is this guy right here. Nathaniel Lowe has been the most consistent hitter for this team, and it's not even close. He was the most consistent hitter last year, but he's just taken another step this year, and Tony Beasley just notes his high IQ as a hitter, understands what pitchers are trying to do to him. He has a plan, and the biggest thing is he's confident in executing it, and that confidence has definitely been on display throughout this season.
No two ways about it. And if you're scoring at home, Emily 3, Dave 1, CJ 0.
Oh, gosh, y'all. It's so bad. God, that's going to be a hard one. All right, I'll try to do better tomorrow.
Well, Lowe starting it here in the 8th inning, and Trevor Stephan is the new pitcher.
62nd game of the season. He's been really good in his 59 in a 3rd inning. You saw the strikeouts there. He's only given up 3 home runs this season. A little bit better than average ground ball rate at 48%. You're going to get a 4-seam fastball that averages 97. He throws the split and the slider, and the split has been nasty. 146 batting average against, and that's where he goes to get those strikeouts. 50 of the 76 Ks this year have come on that split finger.
Goes to 2-1 on Lowe, who was walked tonight. Still looking for that first hit of the evening. Scoreless inning for Hentges. And Stephan's 2-1, a swing and a miss. Fastball there at 97 miles per hour. Boy, last of the 8th inning. Rangers 1 run, 6 hits today. Yesterday stranded 11 runners. They've left 7 men on today, and there's a swing and a miss. Lowe strikes out to start the 8th inning.
Stephan sticks with the fastball here instead of the split to Nathaniel, and it's up out of the strike zone, but pretty good carry at 97 miles an hour.
So with 1 out, Jonah Heim comes to the plate, and there's the shift that the Guardians will employ here. 3 infielders on that right side, including Jimenez out on the grass and right, and there's a good breaking ball. Strike 1 called. Yeah, pretty common look for a lot of guys hitting from the left side, but you won't see much of that next year. 1 strike pitch, and that is high. 1-1.
What will be interesting to see is what the Guardians decide to do here in the 9th inning. Emmanuel Clase has thrown 3 out of the last 4 days. We saw Karinchak yesterday. He has thrown in 3 of the last 4 days.
Bouncer right side of the infield. Jimenez waits on it and then throws out Heim. 2-1.
And you get to this point in the season, and it does feel like the Guardians are going to be able to close this thing out eventually and win the division, but they're not there yet. And Ranger fans certainly familiar with watching a bullpen work really hard down the stretch to try to close things out, especially if you get into those last few days of the season. At least you get this thing locked up beforehand. I'd be curious to see what they decide to do with this bullpen the rest of the way here to get these last 4 outs.
There's that top of the Central Division standings, an 8-game lead coming into play. Guardians magic number at 3, but White Sox are losing currently to the Detroit Tigers. It's a 7-2 score in the 7th inning of that one. While the Guardians working with the 2-run lead here, and if those 2 scores should hold up, then their magic number would be down to 1, which creates the possibility tomorrow of us having to watch the Guardians clinch. There's a breaking ball off the plate. 1-1 the count to Young. Just as soon not have to do that tomorrow. Rangers will be headed to Seattle, where the Mariners are in a battle. 1-1 pitch. This one on the ground, third base. Ramirez has plenty of time. Throws out his opposite number, and it's a 1-2-3 8th inning. We're off to the 9th tonight here at Globe Life Field in a 3-1 game.
To you by Baylor Scott & White Health, changing healthcare for the better. And by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts. Well, a 3-1 ball game. What happened here?
I ran into some stormtroopers today walking around the ballpark, and Darth Vader.
I figured maybe that guy just been sitting there since May 5th. Or the 4th. There we go. There we go. Gosh, hang in there, meat.
Now, the strong season of Matt Moore continues as that ERA is now under 2 at 1.99, 77 punch-outs for him in those 68 innings. Only a couple of home runs allowed, 4-seam fastball, curveball, and changeup.
Well, Moore's first pitch, that ball is hammered to center field. My goodness. Gonzalez with his second home run of the ball game. Gives him 11 now this year. And he's just added a big insurance run for Cleveland. It's 4-1. He's got quite a routine going around the bases.
Kind of an ambush here against Matt Moore. So take a look at this first pitch, 4-seam fastball. Slightly elevated, inner third. And Gonzalez put a hack on it. And that was kind of a no-doubter off that back wall in center field.
So, for Gonzalez, that's second time this month. And he's had a multi-homer game. He did it at Minnesota on September 9th. 4-1. Now Jimenez, he's had a big day. Double and a home run. Moore grooves one for strike one.
I just want to fire up the mystery van. I got one for you.
All right.
Guardians.com. The website?
Sure.
Just currently being held by somebody for sale.
What?
Yeah. And I just, there's got to be something going on there.
Yeah.
Somebody's holding it for ransom. You know, MLB has most of the names. And you go and you just type in Rangers.com, and that's going to bring you to the Major League website for the Texas Rangers. I think with the Giants, you got to go sfgiants.com to get there.
Right.
I don't see a lot of thing about the New York Football Giants you have to deal with and others. But Guardians.com it's for sale. It's just sitting out there being held. I'm just super curious what the asking price is. Because obviously, I'm sure Major League Baseball, the Guardians probably approached whoever owns it on it.
Just a squatter.
And
somebody
not budging.
That's amazing. The world.
What would be your asking price?
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know generally where those fall into.
I just ask for a percent of all revenues generated by the team in perpetuity. That's all. Is that so much to ask? How about just like 1 or 2%? No, I mean, well, the Washington football team, there's a rumor that it leaked about what their new name was going to be, and somebody had gone out and quickly snatched up those websites. Or maybe it was that somebody had gone out and purchased those websites, and so people had determined that was what their new name was going to be, and then it got double-crossed. And so, yeah, that's a big thing, right? You go out and I have to start thinking of some good website names. This one on the ground near second base. It's playable for Seager. They get Jimenez one away.
Well, time now for our Allstate Mayhem moment, and you just saw half of it because it has been a pretty good night here for Oscar Gonzalez. First against Glenn Otto, breaking ball that sat in the middle of the zone, and he pulls that one out to left field and into the seats, and then to center field here against the left-hander Matt Moore off that back wall. So a two-home run night, and I guess a couple of three-pointers there between
second and third base as he went around the bases. But a good night it has been for Oscar Gonzalez. A good season.
Well, next pitch lifted to center field by Brennan, and that's a routine play out there for Leote. 2 away. So the leadoff homer, then a ground out and a fly out. It'll bring up Austin Hedges.
Hedges is 0 for 3.
And on the bottom of the 9th, the Rangers are going to need some base runners. They will have the 6, 7, and 8 spots due. Taveras, Huff, and Smith with some bats available off the bench. And it does look like Clase will be the man in the 9th inning for Cleveland.
How about that? So that'll be 4 out of 5 for the right-hander, the former Ranger. 3 straight for him.
Well, this one lifted out to short right field. Thompson coming in, and that will do it in the 9th inning for the Guardians. So now it will be last chance time for this Rangers offense. They've struggled a little bit tonight, but they have one last shot, trailing 4-1. Cleveland on top. The Rangers shooting for a big comeback here in the 9th inning. Taking a look at what's remaining on their regular season schedule. Tomorrow, wrap it up with Cleveland. Then Monday, an off day, final off day of the year. 3 in Seattle, 3 in Los Angeles, and then home for those final 4 games against the Yankees October 3rd through 5th.
Emmanuel Clase is the man on here in the 9th inning.
That's been a huge year for Clase. 38 saves. That's the most in Major League Baseball. 2 home runs allowed in his 66 and 2/3 innings. He's got that nasty cutter that sits at 100 miles an hour. The slider at 92. The 4-seam fastball also averaging 100 miles an hour. He doesn't throw it very often, but it is there, and he has been excellent in these situations. And with a 3-run lead, it is a save opportunity. And so Terry Francona, the manager of the Guardians, brings him out, as I mentioned, 3rd straight day and 4 out of the last 5.
So perhaps vulnerable here. We'll see if the Rangers can find an opening. There's a swing and a miss. The first cutter of the night from Clase. Clocked at 99 miles per hour. Clase threw 22 pitches last night, facing 6 Rangers hitters.
He's never allowed, I shouldn't say never, this season has not allowed 3 runs in an outing.
He's had 4 outings in which he's given up 2 runs.
He's ahead here. No balls, 2 strikes on Taveras. So they want it down. The 0-2 pitch was down. Hedges pounding the dirt for that, and Clase obliged. But Taveras wasn't taking the bait. They play Leote pretty much straight away on the infield. A little shading here and there. Rosario maybe up the middle but short. There's a bouncer second base. That should be routine for Jimenez. It is on the way.
So how about this for Clase? He does an excellent job throwing strikes and not walking hitters. In his last 35 games, he's had 2 of those games in which he's allowed a walk. In one of them, he had 3 walks. Which is kind of amazing. That was one of the games that he had given up 2 runs. But in 34 of his last 35, well, I should just say 33 of his last 35, no walks. That is incredible.
First pitch, and Huff powders that deep out to center. Gone! That was a big boy home run for Huff. His third of the year, and he makes it a 2-run game.
Pretty amazing there from Sam Huff, a guy who does not allow very many homers at all. First one that a righty has hit off Emmanuel Clase all year long, and it looks like that cutter middle in didn't move as much as we're used to seeing. And for just the third time in the career of Emmanuel Clase, a right-handed batter has taken him deep. He's faced 341 righties, 3 homers.
There's a bouncer right side of the infield. Great play by Jimenez, who spins and throws out Calhoun. Pardon me, Smith, for the second out of the inning.
And think about how big that was.
That one gets through for a base hit. Now you're talking about the tying run coming to the plate. Josh Smith doesn't wait around. Hits the ball pretty hard on the first pitch that he sees. But that is a very nice play by Jimenez on the short hop to get the out.
That's a nice play.
How about this? 6 pitches, 2 outs, including a home run in there. And that's the thing with Emmanuel Clase. He throws a ton of strikes and pitches to contact. He's got some strikeout ability, but it's not a huge strikeout pitcher.
So now Calhoun, and he takes inside. Ball 1. A 4-2 game. You just need a base runner. Cole can find his way on. You have Semien and Seager coming up. And a legitimate shot. Not a big home run tying the game, but the key is going to be Cole finding his way to first. Clase from the stretch. 1-2 pitch. And that's pulled foul. The 1-1 pitch. Now it's strike 2. The Rangers are down to their final strike tonight. Had a good crowd tonight. 28,415 the paid attendance. Get into it. Clase delivers. There's a bouncer right side, and again foul. Clase trying to save it for Quantrill. It would be his 14th win of the year. Quantrill, and it would be 10-0 in his last 10 decisions. A little high. 2-2. For Quantrill too, that would put him in some rare company in Cleveland historical context. It'd be just the 3rd Cleveland pitcher to go 10-0 or better over a 15-start span. That one's inside, with the first ever being Gaylord Perry back in 1974. But the Rangers not done yet. Not ready to give in. Calhoun has worked the count full. One bad pitch gets the tying run to the plate here in the 9th. 7th pitch of the at-bat. And there will be an 8th.
That'd be fun to see after we just talked about the great command of Emmanuel Clase and 0 walks in 33 of his last 35 games. If Cole Calhoun, especially coming off in a pinch hit situation when it's very difficult, you've been sitting on the bench and you get one of the best closers in the game in a pinch hit spot. With the nasty stuff that Clase has, it's not easy to put together a good at-bat, but Cole Calhoun has done that here so far.
Payoff pitch. And this one on the ground, right near shortstop. It's Ramirez over from third. He throws out Calhoun, and the Rangers will fall short tonight. 4-2 the final score. We'll be back to wrap it up here in a moment.